Very few people have ever laid claim to beating Tiger head to head. Good luck in your rivalry, you're going to need it.
Grown men lose their minds if they get a glimpse of Tiger Woods from 50 yards away.
Tiger!
Howdy folks, well there you go, that's the brand new trailer for PGA Tour 2K23. Now I did want to get this video done last night, but hey, what can you say, IRL does get in the way sometimes. So sorry about that, I am a bit late to the party, but let's crack on and get into this. So what you can see in the background there is just a little bit of B-roll that 2K and HP kindly let us use. So I'll let that play just as I kind of go through some of the things I want to talk about. So first thing I wanted to bring up was another addition to the roster. I mean, you've got Tiger Woods, Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, Lexi Thompson, and a few more. But they have now added Jon Rahm and Justin Rose. Now, the reason why I've got Jon Rahm's screenshot up there is because we're going to talk about motion capture. Now, what they've done, I don't think it's all the pros that they've done this with, but I know it's the likes of Tiger, Jon Rahm, Colin Morikawa, and a few of the others. They've done full motion capture with it. Now, the reason why I say Jon Rahm is because if you've ever watched him play, he's got a very, very distinctive swing. It's kind of almost three-quarter. It's a very short backswing that he's got. Like, as I said, kind of almost like a three-quarter swing. So that's going to be interesting to see with the full motion capture, especially his swing. So I'll be looking forward to seeing that in game. And talking about Jon Rahm's swing, it's another nice segue here into the three-click swings, which is something I want to go over. Now, I'm going to actually read this verbatim for the sort of release that they gave us. It says, making its debut in the PGA Tour 2K franchise, I was going to say 2K23 there, but it just says 2K franchise, the three-click swing requires you to hold and release the A or X button, depending on your platform of choice, for power, and tap it twice to line up your swing path and club face angle. It's as simple as 1, 2, 3. The presentation differs from the traditional three-click swing mechanic you might have seen in past golf games. So if you ever played older games with three-click swing, you've got the horizontal bar at the bottom. You click it and it goes up. Click it again for power, and then it comes all the way back down, and then you click it for sort of a perfect swing. So what it says here, the presentation differs from the traditional three-click swing mechanic you might have seen in past golf games. You'll see a circular power meter displayed as you take your stance rather than a horizontal bar. Regardless of whether you're hitting a normal iron shot, pitching or chipping, the meter shape will stay basically the same shape. It won't change. So to start your shot, hold down the button to the desired power and time your release as it nears the power circle. Exceeding the recommended range will result in an overpowered shot or vice versa. After you release, a green dot will start moving counterclockwise at the bottom of the circle. Quickly tap the button at the top of the circle to determine your swing path. Tapping the button a second time as it reaches the bottom hash mark will determine an open or closed club face. At any time, you can change the difficulty settings, but it will tweak the swing speed of the meter. Unlike the analog stick, experiment with the analog stick and 3-click swings to find which works best for you in PGA Tour 2K23. Now, this is something that I'm going to give it a try. I'm kind of used to, well, I'm very used to the analog stick swing now, but I did used to use the old 3-click swing in quite a few golf games back in the day. So it'll be interesting to see how it sort of plays out. Now, some of the guys that did have hands-on said it doesn't actually make it easier. Maybe it's because they're not used to it. But again, it's something I would like to just sort of play around with, see what I prefer, see if I prefer the analog swing or see what I prefer the 3-click swing. It's going to be interesting to see. Now, I know me reading it out might just sound a little bit gobbledygook type of thing, but again, with some of the additions to this new game, the 2K23, until you actually get it in your hands, get play testing and see how they feel, see how it works, you're never going to know. So the next thing I want to bring up is the skill tree. Now, I'm a sucker for skill trees. Any game, well, most games that I play, they all seem to have skill trees in them. All the RPGs I play, the MMOs I play, some of the first-person shooters I play, like the Division, things like that, they all have sort of skill trees in them. So again, next up, we're going to talk about the skill tree. This, to me, is the biggest addition to the game. This is pretty much a game changer to me, and it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this sort of plays out, especially in societies and TGC tours. You're going to get people who can only play maybe a couple of hours a week. People that have got work loads of hours, and they might only jump on and say like a half an hour at night or something like that. They only get a couple of hours during the week to play the game. So basically the skill tree is you earn XP and you get skill points that you can spend on different attributes in the game. So again, as I said, somebody can spend like a couple of hours a week, and then you get somebody who's going to hammer hundreds of hours in it a week. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, again, as I said, in societies and something like TGC tours. So let's take a quick look at the skill tree. So this is part of the skill tree. Let's take a look at this first screenshot here. Now, you see all your clubs there. You've got your driver, your wood, your hybrid, your irons, your wedges, and your putter. And then on top of that, you've got 7 subcategories to each of the clubs. Now, if you look at on the right-hand side, your skill points, spent 42 skill points. So as you can see with the sort of circles where he spent some of the points here. Again, until we get hands-on, we don't know what all these little icons are. But down here where it says beach bum, he's spent a point on that, on his irons, which is level 1, and it gives splash shots receive a timing boost from the bunker. So it's going to be really interesting. I mean, you are going to get your kind of meta builds. You are going to get kind of builds where it depends on what kind of course you're going to play and things like that. So it's really, really interesting to sort of see how this is going to play out. Again, until you get hands-on, until you see what all the little icons are, and until you can see what clubs does what and things like that with the sort of skill points. And then on this sort of right hand side, you got all these activations and deactivations. Again, they didn't go into this much in detail, so I don't know what the activation and deactivation and all that means. So there's no point in me just sort of surmising what happens until we actually get hands on and just to see exactly what it entails. But again, this in the game is probably what I'm more excited about than anything else. Even the 3-click swing, most of the pros, is the actual skill tree. I think this is going to be a game changer, to be honest. So this next screenshot I'm going to show you, this one's basically just focusing mainly on the driver. Now here you go. If you look at this, so this is just the driver head. Now if you look over in the left-hand side box, right at the top where it says head, you've got the 3 little dots, and the one on the left is actually lit up. So the one in the middle and the one on the right-hand side, I think that's going to be your shaft, and then the other one is going to be your grip. So it looks like you're going to be able to upgrade your head, your shaft, and your grip to different attributes. Now on the driver head itself, you've got power, timing, swing path, transition, shaping, and lie range. Now again, this is, like I said earlier on, this is going to come into play a lot, I think, in societies and the likes of TGC tours, like I said as well. And because you're going to get people that are only going to spend a couple of hours a week on the game, you're going to get people that are spending hundreds of hours a week on a game. Now, if you look at the the right-hand side, it's got 30 on power, 80 on timing, 63 on swing path. Now, if you're playing a really, really tight course, that's probably going to be quite a good build. Not so much power, but your timing, your swing path, your transition, your shaping, it all comes into it with a sort of tight course, tight fairways and things like that. But good to have seen a screenshot for the shaft and the grip, just to see what type of upgrades you can get for them as well. But then if you're going to go, say if you're playing on a really wide course, again, especially if you're playing it in a match or like a tour or something like that, if it's a really wide course, you could easily just go and redo your skill points and just bump everything into power. Get tons of power, and then just a little bit in there. Now, I'm hoping that the shafts and the grip are going to sort of bring in sort of spin and things like that into it as well. So if you are playing like a sort of links course, you can sort of hold back on the power, and you can go for your timing, your swing path, and then on your shafts or your grips, you can go for like spin or something like that, just to sort of stop it on the greens, which is with a pretty firm greens and things like that. So this is going to be really interesting as well. And again, as I said, until we get hands on it, we aren't really sure how it's going to play out. But again, really looking forward to it. I think it's a game changer, and it's going to be interesting to see how TGC Tours works with this, especially in the tours with, as I said, people who can spend only a couple of hours on a game and people who can spend hundreds of hours on a game. So it's going to be interesting to see. But again, as I said, this to me is the game changer, is the skill tree. I'm really looking forward to playing around with this, different builds and things like that. You're going to have your meta builds, your power builds, your spin builds, and all this kind of stuff, and your safe builds, if you know what I mean. So really, really looking forward to this. So what I'm going to leave you here with is a little bit of the designer from the B-roll. Now, you know me, I don't use the designer at all. I haven't got a clue. I haven't got a clue about the UI, if it's changed or anything like that. But I know somebody did say that the UI looks a lot cleaner, a lot fresher. But again, I don't use the designer. But I thought I'd leave this in because I know a lot of you guys that do watch the channel do use the designer. So on that, what I'm going to finish with, I said I sort of covered the things that I thought was going to be more interesting, which was the two new pros, which was Jon Rahm, Justin Rose, and the motion capture. I think watching Jon Rahm, especially Jon Rahm swing, I think that's going to be interesting with his sort of three-quarter length backswing. And then we sort of went through the 3-click swing with the screenshot of the 3-click swing. I know it sounded a bit, as I said, gobbledygook until we get our hands on it and get to play with it. It's going to be quite interesting going from the analog stick to the 3-click swing. I'll try both out and see which ones I prefer, because you know me, my tempo's all over the place with analog swing at the moment, so I might even just change over to the 3-click swing, so we'll see how that goes. And then again with the skill tree is the big thing for me, the game changer. Absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to sort of play around with that. But again, they are sort of drip feeding us with this kind of stuff, so over the next coming weeks, you're going to get more stuff on the skill tree, and you're going to get more stuff on the pros, and you're going to get more stuff, especially on the designer. I know a lot of people are looking forward to more stuff that's going to come out in the designer. So again, guys, I just want to say thanks for watching. Keep an eye on the channel, because as I said, they are going to be bringing more stuff out over the coming weeks. And I hope you enjoyed this little video. Again, I said it could have been a lot longer, but I tried to sort of condense it down to the main things that I wanted to talk about. So again, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you again next time. And don't forget, stay safe.